these 20-year sentences, I mean, they even if they don't get 20 years on someone, I mean, there are January 6 defendants who have committed suicide because you're facing the absolute annihilation of your life.
Perfectly stated. And so in my case, for all the January 6 hostages, and I refer to them that way on purpose, of course, all of them have had their lives really destroyed. And these are innocent people, patriots that really cared about their country, that were set up and entrapped by a malicious government operation. So people need to understand that. In my case, particularly with the plea, but this was a part of their machination, part of their strategy the whole way, was to overcharge with that 20-year felony that doesn't apply, was to overcharge horizontally with stacked charges on all kinds of redundancies, just to scare people to death so that they would instantly take the plea deals offered. And this makes the government look like the government is telling the truth, that they have captured bad people that had a criminal intent. And that was the narrative that they were trumpeting, that they wanted me to accept a plea deal to support that narrative. Now, in my case, the plea deal was shocking because I was facing 5 counts that totaled to 23 years of potential prison and $500,000 of fines. That's what's hanging over my head. And they gave me a golden parachute plea deal of one single misdemeanor. So if I had complied with their lies and bend the knee to government tyranny to sign that plea deal, I would have gone home and had my life back several years ago. And all this had been behind me. I'd be back to normal, so to speak. But the price for that was to support the government's fraudulent narrative and to destroy my own integrity because I know I'm innocent and I know the government is lying. So that's the choice I had to make. And I refused that plea. I went to trial knowing I'd be convicted because it was coordinated and rigged, as you mentioned, and that was obvious. And I was sentenced to go to prison, and I took that on as a deployment in service of my country because I understood the necessity of exposing government corruption and standing on a platform of when you know something's true, you have to stand by it.
I mean, this is pretty astounding, John, because let's put this plea business into slow motion, because this, by the way, is not unique to January 6th. This is a standard government tactic, right? If an ambitious prosecutor will go and charge a doctor, for example, with illegally prescribing pain medicine. Right?
I had an inmate that did that.
Oh, okay. And so what happens then, I met guys like this in the confinement center. They say all the government has to do is find a couple of witnesses who, and of course, they can cajole them and coach them into this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he was constantly prescribing this. And of course, there's an argument about whether or not the pain was, you can always dispute whether this was a required medication.